Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly, the show where I give you guys the latest prog news. I introduce you guys to some new prog singles and give you updates on what's happening here on the channel on Nathan on Shuffle. It's September 26, 2025, and I wasn't able to put up a show last weekend, so this is basically covering the span of 2 weeks in this episode. I apologize. I tried to make it work. It was just kind of a busy weekend and I wasn't able to film anything. So I know it's been a quiet week on the channel, but hopefully this week should correct that. There's some really great shows coming up that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. So sorry for the quiet and the silence, but things are going to ramp up and it's going to be an exciting time as we move into October this year. So as for new releases that have come out recently, and on the 19th we had Big Train's latest live album, Are We Nearly There Yet? We also had a release by the Cardiacs, their album LSD, I believe the last record from the Cardiacs, so a really cool one that's been getting a lot of critical acclaim. Not quite my style of prog, it's a little bit quirky and avant-garde and out there for me, but definitely a lot of people really enjoy this record, so I want to point it out. As for records that have come out this weekend, we've got Amorphous, a prog metal band with their new album Borderland. A little bit of a heavier tinge to them, but some really interesting stuff on this new record. Royal Sorrow's new album Inner Deeps, a new band who are just recently signed out to Inside Out Records. Fantastic record. I'll be doing a review of it, hoping to put that out as soon as tomorrow. I was trying to get it out last weekend and it just didn't work out. So also Beat, the project with Adrian Belew, Tony Levin, Steve Vai, and Carrie from Tool. They have this new live album from this Beat tour where they do 80s King Crimson material. So a cool live album from the likes of those people. Fantastic musicians playing some really complicated, fun music. So that's a great live album that just came out. And Darwin, Distorted Mirror. This is a cool, more melodic rock project akin to maybe like a Toto or other AOR type bands from the late 70s, early 80s. But with excellent playing, great groove work. Some great stellar musicians on board, such as Simon Phillips on drums and percussion, Matt Bissonette on lead vocal, Mahini Day on bass, Greg Howe on guitars. So incredible lineup and just really solid music that I think many of my followers would like. Also a short EP, basically 2 tracks from Elder, the seminal stoner rock, psychedelic metal style band. The album's called Liminality and Dream State Return. Music that I guess they worked on back in between projects with Omens in 2020 and Innate Passage in 2022. So kind of some cool material. It's excellent EP. I really love it. And the big new Genesis Lamb Lays Down on Broadway 50th Anniversary Super Deluxe Edition is out this weekend. And a quick news item right off the bat, 4/5 of the classic Genesis lineup reunited in London at Dolby HQ in Soho for a playback of the new Atmos mix for the album. So that's really exciting. Everyone was in attendance. Tony Banks, Peter Gabriel, Steve Hackett, and Mike Rutherford. Unfortunately, Phil Collins was absent, recuperating from knee surgery at his home in Switzerland. So, but fantastic to see those guys together. To see especially Peter Gabriel with the rest of the guys is really a thrill. So fun to be had for Genesis fans on that front. As for the prog news, I have a lot of items, so I'll just run down through them. First of all, Jethro Tull announced a newly remastered reissue of Aqualung Live. This is a 2005 album that is a live studio recording of the band's 1971 classic album, originally part of U.S. online radio station SiriusXM's Then Again Live series, recorded at their studio in Washington, D.C. with the Ian Anderson, Martin Barr, Doane Perry, Andrew Giddings, and Jonathan Noyce lineup. So the audio has been newly remastered, and it's going to be available on vinyl for the very first time as a gatefold 180-gram LP with a 4-page booklet in transparent green, yellow, and black vinyl variants, as well as new CD and digital editions. So that's all coming out through Inside Out Music. Once again, that's on November 21st that this will be released. and should be a cool reissue for those who enjoy Jethro Tull live material. This should be a great live studio recording. We've got Karnivool announcing their long-awaited album coming. The album's called In Verses. The album is going to be released February, the 6th of February, 2026. So we're already starting to get a few new releases coming in for the early part of next year. They've taken quite a break between albums here. Their previous album, Asymmetry, came out all the way back in 2013. So this has been a very long anticipated record. And I'm really excited. They're one of the premier modern progressive metal acts, in my opinion. Their album, especially Sound Awake in 2009, was just one of my favorite modern prog metal albums. And they're from Australia. They're just a fantastic, really tight-knit group. And this should just be a really fun record. They have a new single out that will be on my singles list called Aozora. So this is one I'm hotly anticipating and we'll definitely be talking about and reviewing on the channel. Next, we have a new live release announced from Dream Theater, Quarantieme Live à Paris. This is coming out November 28th via Inside Out Music, of course. This is documenting one of their shows from their latest 40th anniversary headline tour in Europe. This is, of course, a show they did in Paris, sold-out show featuring the classic lineup: James Labrie, John Petrucci, John Young, Jordan Rudess, and Mike Portnoy. Mike Portnoy's return on drums, which was really exciting. And this was just a fantastic tour. I saw them here in California when they came near my area. So it'll be cool to have a document of this incredible tour where they just played basically a smattering of some of their greatest material in that 40-year span. Did a couple tracks from their newest album, Parasomnia, but of course a great selection, handpicked, I believe, by Mike Portnoy, who tends to do all the set lists for them. This will be presented in several formats with artwork by longtime collaborator Hugh Syme. It's going to be available as a limited deluxe 3 CD 3D Blu-ray art book, including 68 pages of photos and artwork, as well as an additional Blu-ray of bonus material. Also be available as a special edition 3 CD, 2 Blu-ray digipack, limited deluxe 180-gram 4LP box set, and digitally. The Blu-ray includes the full show with Dolby Atmos, 5.1 surround sound, and high-resolution stereo audio. So check that out if you're a big Dream Theater fan. I'm sure it'll be a great package, and great to see the new era of Dream Theater coming out with a great live release. Next, SOEN announced a new album, Reliance, and their first single from that album, Primal. This is coming out January 16th via Silver Lining Music. This is their 7th studio album, a Swedish progressive metal powerhouse, spearheaded by Joel Ekalof on vocals, Martin Lopez on drums. Fantastic group. A lot of people have said their sound, like from album to album, is sounding very samey now. They have a very particular style and they stick with it, but it's really strong and solid and just great work by the band. They're just excellent musicians, playing some excellent material. They have some shows lined up as well. Some European dates coming up very shortly here. I believe they're already on this tour. It started on the 24th this year. So very active band, and it'll be exciting to see what their new album will hold. And that new single will be on my Prog singles list. Once again, that's called Primal. I saw that Yes is announcing a new reissue of Fly From Here Return Trip with an Atmos Makes. This is coming out through Cherry Red Records on November 28th. The new reissue will be available on double vinyl, Blu-ray, and CD, featuring a brand new Atmos Makes, courtesy of renowned producer Richard Whittaker, whose mixing skills have graced recent reissues by The Who, Thin Lizzy, UFO, Robin Trower, and Ultravox. So this is a really interesting album from Yes. It came out back in 2011. And at the time, it featured Yes vocalist Benoit David, who was new to the band, but he didn't really last too long in the band. He had some vocal issues, wasn't able to really perform live with them, so they let him go. And in 2016, they started reworking the album with a new version with Trevor Horn, who had produced the original album, and taking back up the vocal duties, reuniting the band's drama lineup. essentially for a return trip to that album, which I always felt, I always had mixed feelings about, because I really love the Benoit David version, and I don't like this kind of, rewriting history and trying to take away that version that came out originally from Benoit David, who I think did a fine performance on it. So a little bit weird, I think, that they're kind of celebrating this new redone version when I really loved the original. But regardless, it's going to be a cool version and a cool new reissue. And it should be the definitive listening experience of this album. So fun new Atmos makes to enjoy, and other various different new mixes of this classic record. So should be cool. A couple more quick hits that I wanted to get at and talk about really quickly. Rick and Oliver Wakeman are touring together under the headline Rick Wakeman and Son for rescheduled U.S. tour dates in March next year. So that'll be cool to see them touring together. Colin Edwin and John Wesley announced new Porcupine Tree focused band Voyage 35. These are two former members of Porcupine Tree. And they're going to be performing early Porcupine Tree material that you rarely would hear live from the main Porcupine Tree band that exists now. So they only have one date so far, the 2 days Prog plus one festival in Italy next September, but they'll probably be adding more dates soon. So that should be an exciting project to look out for. Steve Hackett announces Best of Genesis and Solo Gems 2026 England and Scotland tour dates, and also some personnel changes. He's going to have Lally Larson coming in to replace Roger King on keyboards, who of course has worked with the Flower Kings, is incredible. Also, German drummer Felix Lerman, who's played with Flower Kings as well, is going to replace Craig Blundell for that tour. So, and I found out recently, probably old news, but Nick DiVirgilio is going to be taking the drum seat for the U.S. dates that are upcoming, which I hope to go to one of those dates with my dad. So should be fun to see Steve Hackett, who just consistently keeps touring, releasing live albums, going on this cycle. So we'll see how he can keep it up. I saw that Annie Haslam is teaming up with Renaissance founder Jim McCarty for U.S. live shows. It's going to be a history of Renaissance, featuring discussion and visual presentation of the band's history, and some performances as well. Even though Renaissance kind of called it their previous tour, their farewell tour in October last year, but this is going to be, replaying some material from Renaissance and talking more about the history of the band. Should be a cool collaboration and some interesting live shows there. Mommy Heads share a video for I'm Your Apocalypse from their 17th upcoming studio album called No Quietus. This is coming out on November 7th. And just a fantastic kind of power pop with proggy influences band that I pay some attention to, so I wanted to mention their upcoming studio album if you happen to be a fan. And Opeth announced February 2026 North American tour with Catatonia. This is the Last Will and Testament North American tour part 2, and it's going to, of course, be covering material from that album that recently came out. And Catatonia will be bringing music from their latest record, Nightmares as Extensions of the Waking State. So it should be a cool dual headlining tour. So that should be a lot of fun. And check out my singles list, as always, that I put in the description. I have a big giant YouTube playlist now of all the singles from this year that I've been putting together, and I add some every week, so definitely keep checking up to listen to some of the latest and greatest in prog, like that Karnivool track, Dream Theater Live, that SOEN single as well, and maybe I'll add a couple other things just to keep it interesting. Also, Ecolin has a new live video, a new music video of a sort from their latest record, Time Silent Radio 7, Time Silent Radio 2. The track is called Water in Our Hands, so I'll be putting that on the prog singles list, even though it's a 28 plus minute song, so you get this nice meaty epic that they've done a video for to get a feel for their latest records. Fantastic. I love their latest records, in contention for one of my favorites of the year for sure. So definitely check that out if you haven't heard it yet. So a lot of great stuff going on. Really excited about the channel and about what we have in the near future. Like I said, there wasn't really any videos this past week to highlight. But I'm going to be doing a review of Royal Sorrow's Inner Deeps. Really excited to talk about their new record. I'm also going to be doing a September roundup of my favorite albums that I haven't quite talked about yet on the channel, kind of spotlighting some things that I enjoyed this month in music. And also the return of Prog Song Shuffle with Jana. We're going to be covering a Marillion track, classic Marillion, so hopefully that's something to look forward to. I know we've been missing the past couple weeks. We have a video in the works, but we just haven't had time to edit it and put it out there. So this should be the weekend where it comes out, this Sunday. So that's what you have to look forward to. A lot of cool releases coming up. This is going to be an exciting final quarter for the year before I ramp up to like the year-end stuff of my favorite albums of the year and my top 16 tournament and all that stuff. So that's what I have for you guys today. Hopefully this was an okay show. I feel a little bit rusty not having done one the past week, but a lot of fun things to discuss. So hopefully you guys are excited about some of these items. And let me know in the comments anything I missed over the past 2 weeks that you want to point out to everyone in the comment section. Thank you guys again for your support, for sticking with me, even though these breaks have probably not been so fun. But thank you for supporting me, and we will see you hopefully in a new episode coming shortly. So thank you guys, and enjoy the music, everybody. Bye!